Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JRPG Report. My name is Dalton, and this week we've got quite a good little bit of stuff that I was able to scrounge together over the past few weeks. It's been a little dry here lately, but hopefully some of this stuff piques your interest. But right here at the beginning, I would like to touch on something. Doing this show is kind of like a labor of love in a way for me. Taking the time out of my day to go and like find all of the news stories and all of that and record them and edit it and get it out to you guys and make sure that everybody's, satisfied with the show and all of that. And the financial side of things, it does help out a lot whenever you guys donate to the show. And that has been getting like kind of stagnant lately, less and less. Not as many people donating and helping the show stay on and things like that. So while I am still going to keep doing this, for the foreseeable future, I would really, I even hate to do this, but I ask that like if you like the show, to support the show because, honestly, at the moment, like money's tight around here with things going on with family and, keeping up with the animal and all of the mental health stuff that I'm having to deal with. So I don't want this to come off as like e-begging. If you can't afford it because the economy is trash right now, I 100% understand that. Please do not feel obligated. But if you have it within your means to toss the show, maybe $1 a month or something, that would mean the world to me. Just something to keep in mind that I wanted to get out of the way here at the beginning. I love you all, regardless of if you donate or not. But I do appreciate you. So let's move on from that and let's get into the news itself. Starting off with Sabotage Studios has announced that Throes of the Watchmaker, the previously announced free DLC for Sea of Stars, is set to release on May 20th for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Throes of the Watchmaker is described as a post-game adventure bonus DLC set in a miniature clockwork world of Horlog. Promising 8 hours of new content, Valere and Zale will switch out of their usual Solstice Warrior classes into a new circus-themed one as an acrobat and a juggler, respectively. A new character also joins the party in this DLC, a mechanical artificer known as Artie. So if you are a fan of Sea of Stars, keep your eye out for that. We've got a new DLC coming out, and it's free, and that's always fun. Up next, a little bit of a bummer, but understandably, I always understand when this happens because usually it's for good reason. Publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment and developer Ulta Zero Games have delayed action RPG Lost Soul Aside from its previously planned May 30th release date to August 29th, the company has announced. It will be available for PlayStation 5, PC via Steam, and Epic Game Store. And a little quote, "We are truly grateful for the positive response we've received from players all over the world since we announced Lost Soul Aside," said Ulta Zero Games CEO and game director Yang Bing in a statement. "We remain committed to delivering a high-quality game experience. To match standards Ulta Zero Games have set for ourselves, we are going to take some additional time to polish the game. Lost Soul Aside will now release on August 29th, 2025, and we want to express our heartfelt thanks to fans waiting for the launch." So if you've been keeping an eye out for that game, it is still coming this year, just a little bit later than it was. All right, Mages has revealed that they will release a new fantasy dungeon RPG themed after the quintessential quintuplets for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 in Japan on September 18th. The game's full title in Japanese is, why did I do this to myself? Five Tobon no Princess Ginso Tushinin to Mahou Gakuen. I probably messed that all up. I super apologize. Which can also be translated to the quintessential princesses, fantasy and abyss and magic academy. The company noted that this new title is the fourth mainline console game on the based on the quintessential quintuplets, and the series Game Portal site also lists 2 side games that compiled story episodes from the 5 to Puzz mobile game. However, while the prior games were mostly adventure visual novels, this will be the first time Mages is producing a dungeon crawler RPG based on the popular manga and anime series. The company also added in the reveal trailer that this game will be a spin-off of the series. Quintessential Princesses will take place in a fantasy world where most of the student characters are instead enrolled into a magical academy. The player will still take the role of the franchise's protagonist Futaro Usugi, but his sister, Reiha, will instead appear as a tiny familiar. That's interesting. Here's a little story synopsis for you. This is a kingdom where science and magic coexist. Futaro Usugi, a student in the Magic Academy who lives in poverty, received an offer to work part-time as a private tutor with favorable terms. He ended up having to teach the quintuplets who are his classmates. These 5 girls are known as the daughters of a wealthy aristocrat serving the royal family, but they notably hate studying and are on the verge of failing to advance to the next grade. While Futaro has to deal with them, he ended up learning about the quintuple's, quote, secret. Oh, so that piques your interest. If you're into that anime or you like those visual novels, this may very well be a cool game if it ever decides to come out over here. Up next, another little bit of a bummer for some people. There are currently no plans to port 100 Line Last Defense Academy to additional platforms such as PlayStation or Xbox, according to co-director and co-writer Kazutaka Kodaka. I'm not talking about porting to other platforms. I'm referring to multilingual support, Kodaka said in a Blue Sky post responding to a misunderstanding that he would like to work on ports as soon as possible. As for porting to other models, I've mentioned it many times before, so I don't think I need repeating, but just to be clear, there are no plans for it, and the chances are very slim. The 100 Line Last Defense Academy launched for Switch and PC via Steam April 24th worldwide. It was published by Aniplex, a subsidiary of Sony Music Entertainment Japan. Kodaka previously said Tukio Games invested all our money and human resources into this game and even went into debt. Currently, Kyo Games is still in debt and on the brink of going under, Kodaka said. So that's not cool. That's not good. I hope that they are able to stick around because I've heard that this game is actually quite fun. I haven't gotten around to it yet because there are too many games and too little time. IM8-Bit has announced another collaboration with Atlas for a vinyl soundtrack release with the Metaphor Rifantasio 4XLP vinyl. Pre-orders for the new collection they opened up on April 29th, 2025 at $100 with shipping beginning in Q4 2025. So just figured I'd throw that in there for anybody who is one of these vinyl collectors, you know. And speaking of collectors, ahead of Gung Ho's launch for Trails in the Sky First Chapter this fall, Pinbox has announced an officially licensed collector's set for the game titled Trails in the Sky First Chapter Bracer Supply Box. This thing looks pretty freaking sweet, I'm not going to lie. Trails in the Sky First Chapter Bracer Supply Box is a single production run collector's set featuring an Orbment replica, which is just cool, a magnetic quartz set, a shoulder bag, notebook, pins, art prints, and more. The set is available to pre-order now for $199.99 GBP. With worldwide free shipping included, the pre-order window will shut May 29th. Note that the game itself is not included in the collector's set. Okay, this got a whole lot less cool. Although they do have a canvas map print, which I do appreciate that it's not paper. DAT Japan just released Rummy's Great Adventure 1 and 2 remake for PC via Steam in Japan. The company also indicated on the Roguelike's official website that the game will release a Nintendo Switch version later in the summer 2025. Both titles originally appeared via DAT Japan's Game Pack releases. For the record, the original Game Pack version of the second game is also still available for PC via the Japanese Microsoft Store since February 2013. However, the new remakes will have the following new features that were not in the originals. A new high-difficulty challenge mode that adds new equipment and monsters, among other things, and unlocks a brand new story upon clearing it. An encyclopedia menu that will gradually unlock biographies and descriptions of characters, monsters, and items by achieving in-game feats. Alternate color patterns for Rummy, which will be gradually unlocked through the encyclopedia progressions. And online ranking leaderboards based on clear time and turns taken for both normal and challenge modes. This remake project came to fruition following a largely successful crowdfunding campaign held on Campfire in September through October of 2024. The company originally marked these re-releases as Rummy's Great Adventure 1 and 2 HD remasters. However, it ended up becoming a full-blown remake made with Unity. In the same campaign, DAT Japan also reached a stretch goal that made them commit to producing Rummy's Great Adventure DX as a brand new sequel. Both projects were originally only planned for PC release via Steam, but additional funding has allowed to release the games on more platforms, as shown with the staggered Switch release. So that's pretty cool, man. It's always nice to see some of these old classics getting revitalized and released back to people. Up next, Valkyrie Profile Lenneth on mobile from Square Enix will be available via the Crunchyroll Game Vault. I believe that started this month, with a standalone release being delisted as of writing in many regions. Crunchyroll has announced more games coming to its Crunchyroll Game Vault service, including one of note for us one of note for them at the RPG site, Valkyrie Profile Lenneth. It has been available for iOS and Android for a while now, and the standalone release is now no longer available for new purchases, but it can be re-downloaded if you bought it prior to the delisting. If you aren't familiar with Crunchyroll Game Vault, it includes many premium games for Mega and Ultimate fan members in most parts of the world. So if you were a player of Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, or you wanted to check it out and now you can't, there is still a way to do so. East Asia Soft has just announced that it will be releasing Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 for Nintendo Switch in Asia this summer with English support included. If you've not kept up with the way that this trilogy has been handled in the West recently, Idea Factory International canceled the original announced Western release for the trilogy on Nintendo Switch after it was indefinitely delayed. Since that cancellation, the publisher has announced plans to bring Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth trilogy to PS4 in the West. Now it's coming to Nintendo Switch with English support, but only in Asia. It will see a digital and physical release with pre-orders going live soon. All 3 games in the trilogy are available on the Vita, PlayStation Vita, Steam, and will soon be on the PlayStation 4 in the West, with the first game also having a PlayStation 5 version titled Neptunia Reverse. You can find Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 Nintendo Switch Asian trailer on the East Asia Soft YouTube channel. So Konami will release Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters, The Gates of Ruin and Dun and Unification Wars for Nintendo Switch 2 on June 5th as a launch title for the system. A little while ago, a few retailers' listings went up in Japan for Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster, but nothing was announced when it comes to official release dates or any details on the release. Since then, Konami has officially announced that the Switch 2 versions of the game will be coming out alongside the Switch 2. They put that up on their website. This announcement also confirms that Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters will run at 1440p 60 frames a second when docked and 1080p 60 frames a second in handheld mode on the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, I hope so. It's just, it's not a hard game to rent, whatever. It mentions save data transfer from Switch 1 to Switch 2, but nothing about an upgrade. The Switch 1 version will be playable on the Switch 2, but will not include the improved resolution and frames mentioned because, they want that extra money from you because they want you to buy everything because it's Nintendo. The product page also lists the download size for Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters at 12 gigabytes for the Nintendo Switch 2. But if you don't want to wait for that, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster Gate Rune and Dun and Unification Wars is now available for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam. So Compile Heart has just opened an official website for their upcoming new 2D side-scrolling action RPG. This game will have the Japanese title Meihal Shisho Ariana Shichi Ekitsu no Sho, which we translate to Magic Librarian Arian, the Book of the Seven Heroes. It will be available in Japan for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4 summer 2025. This is not the first time that we've heard of this title, as Compile Heart has previously listed this in the games of lists of projects they are preparing to release in 2025. Today's update comes with details on the game's story synopsis and along with several gameplay screenshots of the 2D action RPG. So let me give you the story synopsis to see if this piques our interest, shall we? 1,500 years ago, there was a person who brought magic to humankind. She gave them a set of 4 magic-producing books called the Books of the Four Elements, and a magic pen needed to write magic books. Having known about the concept of magic and the existence of magical power, humankind produced various kinds of magic books in the world with the magic pen. Among these books, the set of 3 books called the Books of the Three Phenomena possessed magical powers that equaled the Books of the Four Elements. These 7 books came collectively known as the Books of the Seven Heroes, and the library facility was set up to manage and fix all magical books. In the present era, an incident occurred at the library, which has been storing an enormous amount of wisdom and sources of all magic. The Books of the Seven Heroes were altered by someone, and as a result, magic has disappeared from the world. The librarian Ariana's duty is to fix the altered Books of the Seven Heroes, and she can use special librarian magic that lets her actually enter the books. Can Ariana safely fix all the books while deciphering the mystery of the hidden library? Or the mystery hidden by the library, excuse me. That sounds awesome. I'm not going to lie. That sounds like something that's right up my pooper. Oh, the biggest news lately, in my opinion. GOG, good old games out there being everything that we want them to be and more. I love them so much. GOG and Capcom have released the PC version of Breath of Fire 4 via GOG for $9.99. Breath of Fire first launched for PlayStation on April 27th, 2000, followed by PC on May 30th, 2003. Here's an overview of Breath of Fire 4 if you've never played it before. In a faraway world, 2 continents float, separated by a vast swampland. For eons, no contact existed between the 2 continents because ships couldn't sail across the expanse. At last, when the historic first contact was made between the 2 powers, war erupted. After long and costly fighting between the Fall Empire in the west and the alliance of the countries in the east, both sides exhausted all of their strengths and resources. With no other alternative, the 2 powers agreed to an armistice. 1 year later, Princess Elena vanished. She had been traveling in the east from town to town, exploring battlegrounds and visiting war veterans. Her trail vanished in a small town near the front line. Nobody knew her whereabouts. The Eastern Alliance wanted to avoid sending a large army to the front. Such a move would be a political blunder, breaking the armistice and stirring up hostilities. It became possible to carry out a large-scale search for Elena. time passed with no sign of the princess. Elena's sister, Princess Nina, finally makes up her mind, and she leaves on a journey in search of her sister by herself. Absolute classic game. Love it. And here's some improvements for the GOG version of the game. It is fully compatible with Windows 10 and Windows 11. Both localizations of the game are included, English and Japanese. Improved DirectX game render. New rendering options, meaning window mode, VSync control, gamma correction, integer scaling, anti-aliasing, and more. An improved audio engine, restored missing environmental sounds and audio configurations, improved keyboard and mouse support, improved warehouse and crane minigames, improved F9 exit screen, issue-free battle and combo system. All crashes have been fixed. Issue-free cutscene scripting, issue-free task switching, and full support for modern controllers with optimal binding, vibration, hot plugging, and wireless mode. Man, that's awesome. I am so stoked that GOG decided to bring this back because this is like one of those games. So when we think of the HD 2D remakes that we get these days, and they're all that SNES style of pixel art, I would love to see more games done in this style, the Breath of Fire style. It's just so crisp and clean looking, but, what do I know? I'm just a fat guy. All right, and they have announced that total sales for the turn-based RPG Clair Obscur, the Expedition 33, have surpassed 1 million units in just 3 days after release. Publisher Kepler Interactive and developer Sandfall Interactive have announced. This game sold 500,000 copies in its first day. Everyone is just singing its praises, and I am so stoked for those guys. It being, not a major dev company, and they were the internet was worried with Oblivion Remastered coming out, which I love, by the way, that it was going to hurt sales for this game. But the guy who, one of the CEOs or the spokesperson or whoever it was, the guy who runs the dev team, I believe it was, for Clair Obscur, said that he was happy that Oblivion Remastered had come out because it had gotten people's eyes on good or great RPGs that week. So definitely shout out to them. Very happy to hear that is being a successful release for them. So Atlas has announced that the soundtrack for Rado Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army, will be released alongside the game on June 19th. The soundtrack features arrangements from the Atlas sound team and will be released across 2 CDs. It will be available in a limited first edition package and a regular release. Pre-orders. The limited version will include a bonus keychain and a sleeve. Pre-orders are now live for both versions across various e-tailers listed on the official soundtrack page, which also has the full track list, and it is likely that the soundtrack will be available on streaming services around that time, going by the recent Atlas soundtrack releases. And speaking of, there have been some quality of life added to Rado and the new remaster, so just the ability to save anywhere, easy access to objectives, updated demon visuals, enhanced environments, and more. And I think they've overhauled combat as well, so definitely keep an eye out for that. It is coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam on June 19th. And our final story for this week, Square Enix has released new information and screenshots for Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remastered detailing the game's story, character cast, combat system, and other components of the remaster. Notably, the encounter rate section mentions that you can set the random encounter rate anywhere from 50% to 200%. However, in the Western 3DS original based on the For the Sequel version, you could turn off the encounter rate entirely. So it seems some features might be different between this new remaster and the original Western version, but we'll have to wait for more details from Square Enix. Bit of the overview is the story is, without warning, the Great Chasm opened a hole in the world. Tiz is the sole survivor of a village swallowed by the chasm. In the depths of his despair, he encounters a young Vestial named Agnes. Together, they set off on a journey with the goal of closing the chasm and freeing the crystals swallowed by darkness. They set off entirely unaware of the significance of that goal. Welcome to the kingdom of Kaldisla, the land of beginnings, where our 4 heroes first meet. Normally an idyllic country, it has lately had many troubles, such as the Eternian Sky Knights invading its territory and the appearance of the Great Chasm. So this is looking to be pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot more information about like the individual classes you can play and such, but that's a lot of screenshots, and this is an audio visual. So if you would like to see that, definitely check this out because I did retweet it over on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. And with that being said, that brings us to the end of the JRPG Report. That's what I could scrounge together for you all this episode. If you would like to follow us over on Twitter, it is at JRPG Report. We are also over on Blue Sky. Search JRPG Report and you can find us there. you want to support the show, which again, I was talking a little bit about at the beginning, means the world to me and really helps motivation and, getting through just the mental cobwebs I've been having to deal with lately. That is patreon.com/JRPG Report. And if you donate, you can get your name read on each and every episode like these wonderful people who have stuck around with me since I took over. Jake W., Jordan K., Kularian, and then Logan Joreid and Be the Knight being the two newest. You guys rule. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for supporting the show. If you'd like to check out my other show that I do, it is a bi-weekly PC gaming show where we play through our backlog, the Steam Machine podcast. And here in the last episode, we played a little JRPG ditty called Octopath Traveler 2. So if you would like to go check that out, it is over on Spotify. Just search the Steam Machine podcast and click that most recent episode. We've also got some episodes on Trails in the Sky, and our next episode is going to be on Undertale. So there's some RPG goodness floating around over there. But that's going to do it for this episode of the JRPG Report. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are wonderful. And do me a huge favor, until the next time you hear from me, get back out there and level up.